All right, everyone, just give me one moment. All right, everyone, just give me 1 second, please.
Thank you. It's Teresa Conley. I'm back.
Just 1 moment, please.
Okay, sure. I'm sorry.
No problem.
Can I talk to the clerk to see how much time my client has?
Just 1 moment. Everyone, if you could make use of your chat boxes, please. Okay. All right, Tilden Schaefer.
Hello, Judge. I'd spoken with Tom Nisbeth. I don't know that I've seen him.
It was a mistake. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Just 1 moment.
If I could talk to him and follow up, we may have resolution, Judge.
All right, and who are you speaking to?
Tom Nisbeth, Your Honor.
All right, Hunter, are you able to take this up with Tilden Schaefer?
I can, Judge. Tom just walked back in also, but I'm happy to jump in with Mr. Schaefer.
All right, I'm going to send you to breakout room number 4. Just 1 moment. Let me make everyone co-host. And Robert and Lupe, if you'll go to breakout room number 1, please. And Miss Kale, I'm going to send you to 1, and you can ask whatever questions you need asked of the clerks there.
Thank you, Judge.
You're welcome. Tom, Tilda is in breakout room number 4. Mr. Schaefer, if you can go to 4. And he said he's discussing something with you. Mr. Charas?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, you are here.
I've got an inmate, Carlos Pojoy.
Yes, do you speak Spanish?
I do.
Okay, I'm going to send, can you let him know to go to the breakout room? He says he speaks some English, but I'm going to send you to number 5. Do you need to speak with him?
I still haven't talked to the state about an offer yet, so I don't have one to convey to my client, but.
Okay, well, let me let you speak to someone from the state first. All right, it's a family violence case. So Albert, I'll send you to breakout room number 5.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Anita Kell.
Just may I go back in with my client,
All right, and who's your client?
Mark Martin.
All right, I'm going to send you back to breakout room number 2.
Thank you, Judge.
Judge, can you send me to breakout room 5, please?
I'm sorry, I just made you a co-host.
Thank you.
And then after he finishes, then Attorney Ambrosino will take up your matter.
Yeah, and Your Honor, I've just been advised that the state is agreeing to the early term at this point.
Okay, well, they need to email that to me.
Okay.
With you included in the email, and that it is an agreement. Teresa Conley, what is happening with Mr. Hill?
Tom, I spoke with Tom Nesbitt earlier, and he wanted me to speak with Mr. Hill and then bring what Mr. Hill back to him.
Okay, as soon as Tom finishes in breakout room number 4, I'll let you speak with him.
Thank you.
And Rebecca, I believe did probation send me something on an early termination for Mr. Rodriguez, or was it just something that the defense had filed?
I think that's something that the defense had just filed.
All right, have you had a chance? Can you give me some information on whether or not he successfully completed everything?
Yes, I will look into that.
And Mr. Ambrosino, for some reason, the court does not have a copy of your motion. So let me talk to the clerks and see if we can find it.
Judge, I gave the motion to the clerks. They should have taken it back to you. And I think there's one in your file.
No, it's not in my file, but he just brought it.
I
Thank
can
you.
also email you a stamped copy if you need me to.
Oh, no, I have it now.
Okay.
Rebecca, do you need the cause number?
Is that the 2019
Yes,
CR 9947? Yeah. Joe Ray had emailed me about that the other day, and I informed him that it looks like he's completed all of his requirements. He still has a no contact with Patricia Rodriguez. And I didn't see any notes regarding any contact between the two.
Okay. And then I'll need Joe Ray to come back and ask if Ms. Rodriguez has been informed. Mr. Ambrosino, do you know if the complainant has been informed?
Mr. Garcia said that he spoke with the victim in the case and
Okay.
assuming that is agreeing to the early term.
All right, we'll put it on the record. Just give me one moment. My understanding there's a detective here to see me on a warrant. Could you have him come back, please? Ms. Kell, is there something you needed?
Just waiting for paperwork from Norma. We have an agreement.
All right, if you have a seat right there, please. All right, everyone, just give me a few moments. And Hunter, when Tom comes back, if I'm still off, can you let him know that Ms. Conley wants to speak to him?
Yes, Judge.
All right, thank you. Everyone, just give me a moment, please.
You're just waiting, Mr. Hill.
We're disconnected on accident.
No, I disconnected you so you could go back to the judge. So right now, I'm gonna just, you're on,
Ms.
you're
Conley,
on.
can you put yourself on mute, please?
Sorry.
Thank you.
Tom, Judge asked me to pass the word along that Miss Connolly requests you in a breakout room.
Okie doke. Is Norma in here?
Yeah,
Our in-court day is Wednesday, right?
yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, I am back.
Judge, can you please put inmate Natoro Bojoy in breakout room 5 with his attorney, please?
All right, on your case, Mr. Gary Rodriguez, Rebecca, do you have everything? That he's completed everything?
Yes.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Just 1 second. Yes. Do you have that he completed everything, Rebecca?
Yes, it looked like everything was complete. And I have relayed that to Joe Ray.
Okay, awesome. All right, we are going to go on the record then. All right, court is calling 2019 CR 9947, State of Texas versus Gary Rodriguez. Could I have parties announced for the record, please, for the state,
Joe Ray Garcia.
for the defense?
Rob Ambrosino.
And are you Mr. Rodriguez? Mr. Rodriguez, if you could unmute for me, please.
Yes, Your Honor.
You're proceeding by video because of the pandemic. Any objections from the state?
No, Your Honor.
Any objections from the defense?
No objection.
Mr. Rodriguez, do you have any objection to this proceeding taking place by video?
I do not.
The defense has filed a motion for early termination of deferred adjudication. State, have you had a chance to review the defense's motion?
Yes, Judge.
All right, are you ready to proceed, state?
Yes.
All right, defense, this is your motion. You may begin.
Your Honor, this case was reduced to a misdemeanor, family violence, on March 9th, 2020. And when Mr. Rodriguez was put on deferred adjudication, since then, he has had no arrests. He has completed all classes, community service, and paid all the fines. He is currently employed in the mortgage industry. He has had no prior convictions or deferreds. I believe he is a good candidate for early termination of this probation.
All right, and I'll note for the record that the defendant was placed on deferred adjudication March 9, 2020, and he's to be on deferred adjudication for 2 years. State, do you have any objections to the defense's motion, and are you in agreement with their motion?
Yes, Judge, there's no objections and we are in agreement. I did talk to probation and conferred that there's no violations or pending issues, as well as a complainant in this case, and they are not opposed to an early termination.
All right, and you're saying that you have spoken to the complainant,
Yes, Patricia Rodriguez.
and she is in agreement with early termination.
Yes, Judge.
And according to probation, and for the record, probation lost connection with the brand new computer. And so she's not on the Zoom, but defense, do you have any objections to Mr. Garcia telling me what was said by probation?
No, I don't.
All right. And so according to probation, Mr. Garcia, has the defendant completed everything?
Yes, Judge.
All right. Mr. Rodriguez, what have you learned from being on probation?
I've learned a tremendous amount of valuable information. I feel as though, you know, I will tell you the classes definitely help. I think that I don't want to go too long here, but I think that it's very important as long as you retain all the information that they go through. And I think it was great information that I probably already knew, but probably wasn't implementing. And I think that it's changed me generally overall. So I would agree that all those classes are definitely worth going to for anybody, even not just in this situation. It's a good refresher.
All right, so Mr. Rodriguez, I'm assuming the court is not going to see you back here again for any type of offense. Is that correct?
That is correct.
All right, then I'll grant the motion for early termination based upon the fact that you've completed everything, based upon the fact that the state is in agreement with your early termination, and also based upon the fact that the complainant is in agreement with your early termination. I'm glad that you've learned something from it. Good luck with the rest of your life.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
All right, thank you. Bye, guys. Have a good rest of your day. Happy
Thank
Tuesday.
you. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye. And that will be that case. Albert Charas, do you need to speak with your client?
Yes, please.
All right, can you tell him to go to a breakout room? I don't speak Spanish that well, as you know.
Okay.
Señor
Number
4.
Number 4. Okay. Señor Polloy.
Yes.
¿Puede ir al 4, al número 4?
Oh, okay.
¿Sabe cómo salir de este cuarto al otro cuarto? Al lado en su pantalla tiene una palabra que dice leave.
Okay, I think he's there.
Okay, perfect.
Thank you. Tom Nesbitt, the other person who's waiting to speak to you is Teresa Conley.
Okay,
so I'm sending her to number 5.
Thank you,
Teresa,
Judge.
you go to 5.
Thank you, Judge.
You're welcome. Tilden, what's happening with your case?
Judge, we've been able to resolve the issue we had, and we do have an agreement to get for my client.
I'm sorry, I lost you. I just heard client and nothing in between.
Okay. Judge, there had been one evidentiary issue that I'd not been aware of before. We resolved that this morning, actually. It was helpful. We've talked some more, and we actually have a plea agreement, Your Honor. And I think, so that's where we're at.
Yeah,
Okay.
Judge, it's going to require the defendant to be in person. And so I confirmed with Norma that next Wednesday, June 2nd, is one of our in-person days. And so
Yes.
defense and I would request if the court could recall it for June 2nd, admonish the defendant to be in court. I believe his lawyer already has, and we will have an agreement to resolve the case on that day.
All right, Mr. Martinez, can you show your video and unmute yourself, please? All right, Mr. Martinez, your attorney in the state have told me that they've come to an agreement on your case.
Yes, ma'am.
So you're going to need to be in court on June 2nd at 9 a.m.
Okay.
This is the last plea deadline date that I would give. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
The courtroom is located at 300 De La Rosa. It's on the 4th floor, 187 District Court. So when do you need to show up?
Tuesday,
And what date is that?
the 2nd.
Wednesday.
No,
Wednesday.
Yeah, Wednesday.
Wednesday. Yeah. So June 2nd on Wednesday. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
At 9 a.m. All right. We will see you there. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Tilda, unless there's anything else, you and your client are excused.
That's all, Your Honor. Thank you very much. And Moses, I will call you on Thursday.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, Tom. Thank you, Judge.
All right. Thank you. Bye-bye.
You can go ahead and leave the Zoom, Moses.
All right.
And then Tom,
Number 5 with Therese.
yes, number 5.
Thank you, Judge.
And Anita Kell, you're just waiting on paperwork?
Yes, Norma said she's emailed it, but I haven't received it.
All right. Can you put your email in the chat box, please?
Yes.
All right. Albert, you back?
Yes, Your Honor, I've got a counter offer from my client for the DA. It was DA Garcia.
Okay, Mr. Garcia, if you go to breakout room number 6, and Albert, if you go to 6.
Yes, thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Ferguson?
Yes.
Could you send me to breakout room number 4 so I can confer with my client, please?
I'll send you to 4.
Oh, thank you, Your Honor.
Yes. And Mr. Hill, your attorney is conferring with the prosecutor at this time, so just give us a moment. And Cleophas Marshall, you're here on Mr. Villarreal.
Yes, and if I could talk with my client for just a moment in the breakout, and then I'll talk back with Tom if he's on. I don't know if he's still on or not.
Yes, he's in another breakout room. I'll send you to breakout room number 3.
Very good. Thank you, Judge.
You're welcome. All right, and Ms. Kell, as soon as I have the paperwork, we'll proceed on your case.
Okay, Judge.
All righty. And you do have the ability to go back to the breakout room with your client because he's still in breakout room number 2.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anita, it's going to go through in just a few minutes. Anita, can you check your email again and see if it went through?
Hi, Ms. Ferguson.
Yes, sir.
Hi, this is Albert Chidas. I just want to let you know, we've reached an agreement on Carlos Pojoy,
Okay,
P-O-J-O-Y. And I've let the DA know, and he's doing paperwork as well.
okay. I got it on the chat. I will get started on it.
Thank you.
And Norma, for him, once they've completed the paperwork, we'll need an interpreter.
Yes, ma'am. Anita, did you get yours?
I did. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Hunter, can I see you in a breakout room?
Yes. Just let me know which one.
Well, I'm not a co-host, so whichever one you want to send me to, or if you're a co-host.
Let's see. How about number 7?
Okay, just send me over there.
Tom, are you around?
Tom is in a breakout room with another
okay.
person.
Okay, I'll just wait until he's done.
Sure.
Clea, is this something I can help with?
I'd already started talking with Tom, so.
Okay.
But next time,
Next time.
as Michael Jackson said, I'll be there. Yeah.
All right.
Hunter.
Yes.
I guess I can go into a breakout with you if we can start down the same road I was on with Tom. I'll gauge.
Okay, well, he may have taken some notes.
Okay.
All right, Cleophas, what you were in breakout room number 3. I'm going to send you to breakout room number 6, and Hunter will meet you there. All right, Ms. Hill, who did you, I'm sorry, Ms. Kale, who did you have?
Mark Martin,
And who was the prosecutor you were working with?
Hunter.
All right, he's in a breakout room. As soon as he comes from the breakout room, we'll take up your matter.
Okay.
All right, thank you. Ms. Kale, what was your client going to plead to?
Failing to report. And then they're going to dismiss the 2 new cases.
All right, let me see if I can get Hunter to put it in the chat box to someone.
Okay.
Because he's still in the breakout room with Cleophas.
Okay.
Joe Ray or Tom, can you text Hunter on the case involving Mark Martin and see what their agreement is? He's in a breakout room number 6. Thank you.
Your Honor, this is Teresa. Can I go back with my client, Mr. Hill?
All right, Mr. Hill, if you could go to breakout room number 7, please.
Thank you.
Oh, I think Hunter's back.
All right, Hunter, are you ready to proceed on Mr. Martin?
I'm very ready, Judge.
All right, and Mr. Marshall, do you need to speak with your client?
Yes, very briefly, but we're ready to go. We just need direction from the court as to how we go about the plea.
Just 1 minute. Mr. Villarreal is in breakout room number 3, so I'll send you to breakout room number 3.
Thank you.
All right, and to Ms. Garcia, we're going to go on the record. All right, the court is calling 2020 CR 0535, State of Texas versus Mark Martin. If I could have parties announced for the record, please, for the state,
Hunter Morris for the state.
for the defense.
Anita Collin on behalf of Mr. Martin.
All right, and Mr. Martin, could you unmute, please? Are you Mark Martin? Just hold down the space bar. It's the longest key on the keyboard.
Yes.
All right, are you Mark Martin?
Yes, Your Honor.
We're proceeding by video because of the pandemic. Any objections from the state?
Not from the state, Judge.
Any objections from the defense?
No, Judge.
Mr. Martin, I'm showing you what's entitled Defendant's Consent to Appear by Video. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it, and did you electronically sign it?
Yes, Your Honor.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily consented to appear by video. I'm going to show you what's entitled Motion to Revoke Community Supervision and First Amendment Motion to Revoke Community Supervision. Did you review that document with your attorney, and did you understand it?
Yes, Your Honor.
Are you the same Mark Anthony Martin who was placed on community supervision in 2020 CR 0535 for the offense of felon in possession of a firearm on June 9, 2020 for a term of 5 years? Is that you?
Yes, Your Honor.
State?
In the first amended motion to revoke, on or about the 26th day of March 2021 in Bexar County, Texas, the defendant, Mark Anthony Martin, committed the offense of theft in violation of condition number 1.
How do you plead to that, true or not true?
True.
State waives the remaining allegations.
Any objections to the state's waivers?
No, Judge.
Mr. Martin, did you understand by pleading true to violation of condition number 1, the court could find it true, grant the motion, sentence you up to 5 years in prison and up to a $1,500 fine. Did you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Knowing that, do you still wish to plead true to violation of condition number 5?
Yes, Your Honor.
I'm sorry. I keep saying 5. Now, knowing that, do you still wish to plead true to violation of condition number 1?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, the court will find violation of condition number 1 true. Is there an agreement?
There is, Judge. For his plea of true, the state would ask that you revoke his probation, reform the judgment to 2 years in the Texas Department of Criminal Justice Institutional Division, and sentence him for those 2 years.
And are there any cases that are being taken in consideration or no?
Yes, Judge. The state will take into consideration cause 2021 CR 4520. That's a theft case. And county court cause number 658005. It's a failed ID.
And you said 658005?
Correct, Judge.
All right. Is that the agreement, defense?
Yes, Judge, we just ask that you give him all credit for all the time he spent in custody.
All right, Mr. Martin, are you asking that the court follow that agreement?
Yes, Your Honor.
Are you waiving your right to appeal?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, the court will follow your agreement, grant the motion, sentence you to 2 years in the prison, give you credit for any time served, take in consideration 2021 CR 4520 and county court cause number 658005. Is there anything else from either side with regards to sentencing?
Nothing from the state, Judge.
No, Judge.
Mr. Martin, I'm showing you what's entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? And did you electronically sign it?
Yes, Your Honor.
Because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waived your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
And also, because this is a felony conviction, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Martin, good luck to you. Thank you, Ms. Kell, for coming back.
You, Judge, may I be excused?
Yes, you are excused. Mr. Martin, if you'll just remain, we'll let the deputies know that you've completed your case today, okay?
Yes, Your Honor. Is there any way I get copies of all this, Your Honor?
You can speak to your attorney about that, and what you're asking for is really a transcript of the proceedings. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you'll have to speak to your attorney about obtaining a transcript of the proceedings.
All right, thank you.
All right, you're welcome. Take care of yourself. Norma, can you let them know that L10 can go back? All right, anyone else ready?
Your Honor, we're not ready for a plea, but we are going to enter a plea. The paperwork has not been done yet, but we already know what we want to plead to in the case.
Okay.
And it's going to be to due time, and my client is on bond.
Okay, you need to bring your client back into the, Mr. Villarreal, can you unmute yourself?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, if you guys want to do the plea paperwork, and we'll set it for him to show up for court.
Okay.
We'll set it for sentencing.
Very well.
All right, so if you guys will get the paperwork done, we will do it.
Judge, I'll get it to Cleo shortly.
All right, and
Thank you
here's
so
the thing, if your client doesn't show up for sentencing, then he'll be subject to the full range of punishment. And I require that to be there.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right.
Thank
Thank you.
And Cleo, I messaged you if you can just send me your email and your client's email.
Oh, okay, I'll see what I can do.
Ms. Conley, what
Your
is
Honor.
what is happening with your client?
We are very, very close to an agreement, Your Honor, very close.
Okay, so is this agreement happening today?
I believe it is, Your Honor. I'm just waiting for a response from Mr. Nisbet on only one issue. Everything else he'll agree to.
Ann Nisbet used to say that beggars can't be choosers. That's what Ann Nisbet would say.
That was directly to me, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, Teresa, I'll send you to breakout room number 6.
Thank you. And who's there, Tom or the client?
Yes, Tom will meet you there because your client is in a different breakout room.
Okay, thank you.
And Albert Charis, we're just waiting on your paperwork.
Yes, Your Honor. I got some of it and signed it. I don't know if there's more to come. And then I'll confer with my client over it too.
Okay.
You should have received the plea paperwork like 1 minute ago.
Yeah, I just got some more here.
Okay. All right, and then Mr. Charis, you have the ability to go to the breakout room with your client.
Okay.
And everyone, just let me know when you're ready. Hello, Flavia.
Hi, Judge.
Hi.
Nice seeing you.
Hi, I'm going to send you to a breakout room. The attorney is in there going over paperwork. That attorney does speak Spanish, but just so you can introduce yourself to him and his client.
Sure. Thank you,
And
Judge.
You're welcome. It's in number 4.
Okay.
But if that, because March of Clea, that paperwork's been sent.
Okay, I saw the discovery. I'll go back and check on the other. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Judge?
Yes, Ms. Conley?
Your Honor, we have an agreement. I think Tom's getting all the papers together, but Mr. Hill has to pick up his 8-year-old child at school in 10 minutes. Can we finish this tomorrow? If Tom sends me the papers, Mr. Hill should be able to do them tonight as well.
Okay, so here's my question. Is Mr. Hill gonna be on time?
Just a moment.
That's the question, because if Mr. Hill were on time.
If you're on time tomorrow, Judge will say yes. Will you be on time?
9 o'clock in the morning again?
Yes, 9 o'clock in the morning, but we've got to get on a little bit early, so we're on, make sure we're on time for the judge. Okay?
Okay. Yeah, that's fine. I would definitely get on time now that we got the Zoom account in order.
Did you hear that, Your Honor? He said he would definitely be on time.
All right, so here's my other question. Does everybody have his email address?
No, I don't have any email addresses, and I didn't know that they accepted the deal.
I do.
So, Mr. Hill?
Mr. Hill?
Yes, ma'am.
You need to make sure that your attorney has your email address, and before anybody leaves here today, the state needs to have that email address and the court coordinator needs to have that email address.
Are you giving me, is that the Gmail one that I came in on?
Yes, ma'am. You could share that one. That one, everyone can get in contact with me that needs to get in contact with me.
All right, Your Honor, I do have it.
All right, so if you'll put that in the chat box to Mr. Nesbitt, and I'm going to recall this. Ms. Ferguson, are you there?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, we're going to recall Mr. Hill tomorrow for a plea.
Okay.
And Ms. Conley is going to give you her client's email address.
Yes, ma'am.
And Mr. Hill, you need to be on time at 9 a.m.
Yes, Your Honor. I'll see you, everyone there at 9 a.m. in the morning, sharp.
All right, thank you. And it'll be on Zoom.
Okay, no problem. Everyone have a nice day, and I appreciate your time and patience.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hill.
You're welcome.
Judge, I also need Cleo Marshall's defendant's email address as well. I'm still waiting on that.
Let me see where Mr. Marshall is.
I can email, Norm, I can email you what he sent me.
Yeah, I've sent it already.
Steve and Daisy.
Thank you.
By email, or did you send it in the chat?
Your Honor, this is Teresa Conley again. The emails have been sent to both Norma and Tom.
All right, then you're excused. See you tomorrow at 9 a.m.
Can you send me yours too?
Sure.
Please? Thank you.
Thank you. Mine's less colorful than his.
I had already forgotten.
I just saw Hunter yawn. Thank you. Goodbye.
May I be placed into a breakout room with my client, Mr. Villarreal?
All right, I'll send you to breakout room number 2.
Thank you.
Can you hear me, Judge?
Yes, and let me just add you as the interpreter.
Wonderful.
All right, could everyone make sure that you go to the little globe and put yourself on English, please? And Norman, can you let the deputies at the jail, has that already been changed, Flavia, at the jail? Oh, sorry, let me. All right, Albert, are you able to hear me?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, and Flavia? All right, great. All right, Norma?
He's on.
Yes, ma'am.
At the jail, that Mr. Poijoy needs to go onto the proper channel, Spanish channel, I believe.
Yes, ma'am. What seat is he in, Judge? Judge, what seat is he in?
Just give me a moment, please. All right, has a deputy helped him? All right, can you interpret for me, Flavia? All right, thank you.
Sí lo escucho, sí lo escucho.
All right, so there's a deputy there. If you can let them know that you need to go on the Spanish channel.
Do they want you to go back to the breakout room? I saw it on the thing. Do they want you to go back?
Dice que lo ponga en español. Sí, ya está sí, ya está en español.
Okay, all right, then we will start.
¿Te quieren en el breakout room o no? Oh.
No, aquí, allá.
Joe Ray, is this your case?
Yes, Judge.
All right, the court is calling 2021 CR 3891, State of Texas versus Carlos Natoro Poyjoy. Could I have parties announced for the record, please, for the state?
Joe Ray Garcia.
For the defense.
Albert Chidas for the defendant.
Right. And are you Mr. Poyjoy?
Sí.
We're proceeding with an interpreter. If I could have the interpreter raise her hand, please. Do you solemnly swear or affirm you will faithfully translate from English into Spanish and from Spanish into English, so help you God? And will you state your name for the record, please? All right. Mr. Poyjoy, all of the documents that I'm going to speak to you about are all in English. Were those documents explained to you in Spanish?
Sí.
Mr. Charas, do you speak the Spanish language?
I do, Your Honor.
And do you speak it fluently?
Yes, Your Honor.
And were you able to explain all of these documents to your client in Spanish?
Yes, I was, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Poyjoy, you can lower your hand. All right, we're proceeding by video because of the pandemic. Any objections from the state?
No, Your Honor.
Any objections from the defense?
No objection, Your Honor.
Mr. Poyjoy, you signed a document entitled Defendant's Consent to Appear by Video Conferencing. Was that explained to you by your attorney, and did you understand it?
Sí.
We'll find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily consented to appear by video. Counsel, have you received all the discovery in this case, and did you review it with your client?
I have, Your Honor, and I did review it with my client.
The court will find that the state is in compliance with discovery. Mr. Poyjoy, did you review a document with your attorney or have it explained to you? A document entitled True Bill of Indictment?
Sí.
I don't think we were copied on the true bill, Your Honor. I could be mistaken. I don't remember seeing the indictment, but I did talk to him about this case and the misdemeanor case and the range of punishment.
All right, Mr. Poyjoy, do you understand what you're charged with?
Sí.
And are you aware that you're here on an indictment?
Sí.
And Mr. Charas, did you explain to your client the contents of the True Bill of Indictment?
I did, Your Honor. I did let him know that he's set for trial on a felony case for a second count of domestic violence. I explained the range of punishment. We discussed the facts of the case. Also let him know that there is an evading misdemeanor, which will be taken into consideration.
Okay, but you did explain to him the True Bill of Indictment.
I don't know that I went into the workings of the grand jury.
No, what I'm trying to get to is the True Bill of Indictment is charging him with an assault, family second offense. Is he aware of that?
He is aware of that, Your Honor.
And is he aware that the allegation that is making it an assault family second is that the state is alleging that on the 10th day of February 2021 in cause number 640317 in Bexar County, Texas, he committed an assault bodily injury married?
I did tell him, I don't think I told him the specific date of the offense, but, or that it was necessarily in Bexar County, but I did talk to him about the indictment.
Okay. Mr. Poyja, do you understand what you're charged with?
Sí,
Do you understand what an indictment is?
sí,
Do you understand what's in the contents of this true bill of indictment?
sí,
Counsel, do you waive the reading of the indictment?
I'll waive the reading, Your Honor.
State, are you proceeding on the indictment as presented?
Yes, Judge.
All right, Mr. Poyja, did you review a document with your attorney entitled Court's Admonishment and Defendant's Waivers and Affidavit of Admonitions?
sí,
Did you understand it?
sí, sí, entendí.
Did you electronically sign it in all the appropriate places?
Sí,
Did you understand what you're charged with by indictment is an assault family second offense? The range of punishment for that offense is anywhere from 2 to 10 years in prison and up to a $10,000 fine.
sí,
Did you understand if you have a plea bargain agreement with the state, the court does not have to follow your plea bargain agreement? If for any reason the court does not follow your plea bargain agreement and gives you more than you bargained for, the fact that you entered a plea will not be used against you, and you will be allowed to withdraw your plea.
sí,
Did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine or confront any witnesses the state would call, and the right to remain silent?
sí,
Did you understand by entering this plea bargain agreement, you were giving up those rights?
sí,
And did you intend to give up those rights and enter into a plea bargain agreement in this case?
sí,
Counsel, has your client been able to provide you with any defenses to this offense?
Yes, Your Honor, I was able to discuss the case with him and possible defenses.
Do you believe he has a rational as well as a factual understanding of the charges against him?
I believe he does, Your Honor.
Do you believe he's currently competent and was legally sane at the time of the offense?
I do, Your Honor.
Mr. Poyja, has anyone threatened you, coerced you, or placed you in fear to get you to enter this plea?
no,
Has anyone promised you anything other than the plea bargain agreement to get you to enter this plea?
no,
Are you satisfied with the way you've been represented?
sí,
Are you a U.S. citizen?
no,
Counsel, did you advise your client of the consequences of pleading no contest or guilty in the application of federal immigration law?
I did, Your Honor. I talked to my client about his status. He is a presidency at this time. He has an immigration attorney. I talked to him about his prior assault bodily injury case and the impact that would likely have on his application for residency. And I talked to him about the consequences of entering a plea in this court to this felony assault bodily injury second, and how it would likely essentially derail his application for residency and would likely lead to his removal from this country. Beyond that, I think that's everything I told him about. So I basically wanted him to be aware of the fact that if he accepts this deal, there's a very high likelihood that his application for residency will be denied and the immigration courts may very well move for a removal proceeding.
Did your advice to your client include possible consequences such as deportation, exclusion from admission to the United States, or the denial of naturalization?
Yes, it did, Your Honor.
And do you believe that your client understands the consequences of entering a plea of no contest or guilty in this cause?
I believe so, Your Honor.
Mr. Pojoy, your attorney has stated you have an immigration attorney. Is that true?
Sí.
What is your immigration attorney's name?
No me acuerdo porque mis papeles no los tengo yo.
Okay. Have you, I don't want to ask that because that would be delving into attorney-client privilege, but let me ask you this. Did Mr. Charas advise you of the consequences of pleading no contest or guilty in the application of federal immigration law?
Sí.
Did that advice include possible consequences such as deportation, exclusion from admission to the United States, or denial of naturalization?
Sí.
Is your immigration attorney aware of what you're charged with in this court?
Yo creo que sí, ya sabe.
Do you understand the consequences of entering a plea of guilty or no contest in this cause number and the effect it will have on your immigration status?
Sí.
Court will find that the defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived his right to jury trial. According to the plea bargain agreement, punishment is to be assessed at 3 years in the prison. There's a $1,000 fine. State will take in consideration County Court cause number 6555817. There is an affirmative finding of family violence. There is to be no contact with Miriam Izararas. I know I'm mispronouncing that. It's Izarraras. Did you understand that to be the plea bargain agreement, Mr. Pojoy?
Sí.
Defense, is that the plea bargain agreement?
It is, Your Honor.
State, is that the plea bargain agreement?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Pojoy, did you understand with an affirmative finding of family violence, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition?
Sí, entiendo.
Did you understand with an affirmative finding of family violence, you're not allowed to be designated as primary custodial parent?
Sí, entiendo.
Knowing this, do you still wish to proceed with your plea bargain agreement?
Sí, sí, quiero proceder.
Next, did you sign a paragraph entitled waiver of appeal in both places?
Sí.
Did you understand by signing that you're waiving your right to appeal? The only items that can be appealed are written pretrial motions that have been filed, heard, and ruled upon by the court. Did you understand?
Sí, lo entiendo.
Counsel, have there been any such motions?
There have not, Your Honor.
Then, Mr. Pojoy, to the offense as charged in the indictment, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
No me opongo.
State any evidence to support the defendant's no contest plea.
State offers State's Exhibit 1 and all its attachments.
Any objection?
No objection, Your Honor.
Mr. Pojoy, did you review a document with your attorney entitled Waiver and Consent to Stipulation of Testimony and Stipulations?
Sí,
Did you understand it?
sí, sí lo entendí.
And did you electronically sign it in all the appropriate places?
Sí,
Again, did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call, and the right to remain silent?
sí,
Did you understand that today the state will be presenting evidence in the form of witnesses' statements, police reports, and judgments, but most importantly, there will be no live testimony? Did you understand?
sí entendí.
Court will find that the defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived and consented to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. The court will accept into evidence state's exhibits 1 and attachments, and the court will review the same.
Okay.
After reviewing state's exhibits 1 and attachments, the court will find there's sufficient evidence to find you guilty, and the court will find you guilty. Are you proceeding with sentencing?
Yes, Your Honor.
Anything you wish to say on behalf of your client?
No, just he's remorseful about what happened, and he realizes that he doesn't have a good relationship with the complainant. This is the same complainant from the prior case. He did ask if there was a way the court could order her to also stay away from him. I told him that the best thing to do is just to avoid her in the future when he's released from custody.
All right. Court will follow your agreement. Court will sentence you to 3 years in the prison, give you credit for any time served. There's a $1,000 fine. Time and money will run concurrent. Take in consideration County Court Cause number 655817. There's an affirmative finding of family violence. There's to be no contact with Miriam Izararis. Is there anything else with regards to sentencing from either side?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Pojoy, did you sign a document entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal?
Sí,
Did you understand it?
sí,
Did you review it with your attorney?
sí, sí lo revisé.
Because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waive your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Because this is a felony conviction, and also because it is an affirmative finding of family violence, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. Do you understand?
Entiendo.
All right, we'll go off the record. Mr. Pojoy, good luck to you. I understand that you want the court to stop her from having contact with you, but you're an adult. Instead of putting your hands on someone, which you should have learned from your misdemeanor case, you need to just walk away. If you would have just walked away, we wouldn't be here. But good luck, Mr. Pojoy.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, Flavia, for coming. All right. Bye-bye. Yes. Norma, can you let them know that L6 can go back, please?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you so much. Thanks for coming. All right, and then Ms. Garcia, the only person we're waiting on is Cleophas's client. So once that paperwork is done, yes, Mr. Marshall?
I believe the paperwork is done from both myself and my client. We're probably just waiting for it to process through.
Okay, let me see if I have it.
Could that be the delay?
No, I don't have it yet, so it hasn't come through on my end.
Okay.
But is he doing it from his phone or computer?
I don't know. He may be doing it from his phone. I would have to ask him.
Okay, if he's doing it from his
Yes,
phone,
ma'am.
just
I'm
make
using
sure
my phone.
you're using your
Yes.
phone.
Yes, ma'am. I'm just having a little trouble because the screen's cracked.
So here's the problem. There's a second step I've discovered that you have to do when you're doing it with your phone. So he may not have pushed it through.
Yeah, I think so.
So it's still with your client. So if you all would go back to breakout room number 1.
Okay.
Well, what's the second step? I'm not familiar with it.
Okay, I'll come to the breakout room and help you all.
Thank you.
Sure.
Hey, Judge,
Yes.
before you go, I want to make sure that I have the correct spelling for Mr. Villarreal's email, because the email address given to me has 1 R, and in our system it has 2 R's. So if we could just make
Okay,
sure.
if you can join us in breakout room number 1.
Sure.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, are we ready on Mr. Villarreal?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you need to show your video, please.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, and Cleophas Marshall, we're waiting for him to come out of the breakout room. All right, Mr. Marshall.
Yes, Your Honor, I'm here.
Court is calling 2021 CR 0999, State of Texas versus Philip Jeremy Villarreal. Have parties announced for the record, please, for the state,
Hunter Morris for the state.
for the defense.
Cleophas Marshall for the defense.
And are you Mr. Villarreal?
Yes, ma'am.
We're proceeding by video because of the pandemic. Any objections from the state?
No, ma'am.
None from the state, Judge.
Any objections from the defense?
No objections from the defense.
Mr. Villarreal, did you sign the document entitled Defendant's Consent to Appear by Video? Did you understand it and did you review it with your attorney?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily consented to appear by video. Defense, have you received all the discovery in this case and did you review it with your client?
Yes, I have.
Court will find that the state is in compliance with discovery. Mr. Villarreal, did you review the document entitled True Bill of Indictment with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, do you waive the reading of the indictment?
Yes, I do.
State, are you proceeding on the indictment as presented?
Judge, state would waive count 1, proceed on count 2, and waive the habitual offender enhancement.
Any objections?
No objections, Your Honor.
Mr. Villarreal, did you review a document entitled Court's Admonishment and Defendant's Waivers and Affidavit of Admonitions with your attorney? Did you understand it? And did you electronically sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand under count 2, you're charged with possession of a controlled substance, penalty group 1, 4 to 200 grams. That's a second-degree felony. The range of punishment is anywhere from 2 to 20 years in prison and up to a $10,000 fine. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
If you have a plea bargain agreement with the state, the court does not have to follow your plea bargain agreement. If for any reason the court does not follow your plea bargain agreement and gives you more than you bargained for, the fact that you entered a plea will not be used against you, and you will be allowed to withdraw your plea. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state will call, and the right to remain silent?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand by entering this plea bargain agreement, you were giving up those rights?
Yes, ma'am.
And did you intend to give up those rights and enter into a plea bargain agreement in this case?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, has your client been able to provide you with any defenses to this offense?
Yes, he has.
Do you believe he has a rational as well as a factual understanding of the charges against him?
Yes, I do.
Do you believe he's currently competent but was legally sane at the time of the offense?
Yes, he is in fact currently competent and was at the time of the offense legally sane.
Mr. Villarreal, has anyone threatened you, forced you, or placed you in fear to get you to enter this plea?
No, ma'am.
Has anyone promised you anything other than the plea bargain agreement to get you to enter this plea?
No, ma'am.
Are you satisfied with the way you've been represented?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived his right to jury trial. According to the plea bargain agreement, the state is proceeding on count 2. They're asking that your punishment be assessed at 5 years in the prison. There's a $0 fine, no applications. The state will take in consideration 2021 CR 0999, and there's to be restitution of $114 for drug testing. And my understanding is you will be sentenced at a later date. Do you understand if you do not appear for sentencing, you will be subject to the full range of punishment?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand that to be the entirety of the plea bargain agreement?
Yes, ma'am.
Defense, is that the plea bargain agreement?
As I understand it, yes, it is.
State, is that the plea bargain agreement?
Yes, Judge.
Mr. Villarreal, did you sign in both places underneath the paragraph of waiver of appeal?
Yes, ma'am.
And did you understand that paragraph and did you review it with your attorney?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand by signing that you're waiving your right to appeal? The only items that can be appealed are written pretrial motions that have been filed, heard, and ruled upon by the court. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, have any such motions?
No, Your Honor.
Then to the offense as charged in count 2, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
No contest, ma'am.
State any evidence to support the defendant's no contest plea.
State offers states one of the attachments, Judge.
Any objections?
No objection.
And the court will note for the record that in the breakout room, defense counsel was present, the defendant was present, and so was the prosecutor. Defense asked the court to change the paperwork in 2 places because they are unable to do it electronically. And that is to change the section on page 2 where it mentions the defendant's name, first to spell out his entire name, and also to replace do hereby judicially confess and admit to do not contest, and also to change where it states that the allegations are true and correct to the allegations are not contested. Is that correct, defense?
That is correct, Your Honor.
State, is that correct?
Yes, Judge.
Are there any objections to the court changing the paperwork in that regard? State?
None from the state, Judge.
Defense?
None from the defense.
Mr. Villarreal, any objections?
No, ma'am.
Then, Mr. Villarreal, did you review the document entitled Waiver and Consent to Stipulation of Testimony and Stipulations with your attorney? Did you understand it and did you electronically sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, ma'am.
Again, did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call, and the right to remain silent?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand that today the state will be presenting evidence in the form of witnesses' statements and police reports, but most importantly, there will be no live testimony? Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived and consented to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. The court will accept into evidence states exhibits 1 and attachments, and the court is reviewing the same. After reviewing states exhibits 1 and attachments, the court will find there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty. The court will find you guilty. We will come back on sentencing. How much time are you requesting, Mr. Marshall? Don't say it.
Oh, I apologize. I did actually speak, Your Honor. I just had muted myself. I apologize.
Okay, so now you can say it differently from what you said.
30 days.
Okay, why does your client need 30 days?
I believe that he has to get some business affairs and things in order. This is a straight plea for TDC time. So he's going to be going in. And we made the decision on that this morning, Judge. So.
All right. I'll give him 3 weeks. Is that enough time for you, Mr. Villarreal?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Ms. Ferguson, can you give me a 3-week setting day for Mr. Villarreal, and he has to be in court?
I'm sorry, Judge, you said 3 weeks?
Yes, and it has to be an in-person day.
The 28th.
All right, so we're going to come back on June 28th. So you've sort of gotten your month, okay?
Thank you, ma'am.
All right, it'll be at 9 a.m.
Yes, ma'am.
Sorry, Judge, that's a Tuesday. Give me 1 second, Judge. I was looking at the wrong month. Sorry.
Well, that's June 28th works for us, Judge.
It'll be the 23rd, June 23rd.
Okay. So it's going to be June 23rd.
That's fine, ma'am.
That works.
All right.
Okay.
All right. It is 300 De La Rosa, 4th floor, 187 District Court. We'll see you at 9 a.m. on June 23rd.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So where do you need to be?
At court on June 23rd at 9 a.m.
All right. All right. Thank you. We will see you then.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. And Judge, before you go, is Mr. Villarreal able to leave at this point?
Yes.
Okay, Mr. Villarreal, you can log off and I'll talk with you a little bit later today. And
Okay.
Judge, I wanted to talk with you. It's unrelated to this case or a pending case, if possible, if I can talk with you very, very quickly in the breakout room. And Hunter, if that's okay with you, if I could speak with the judge privately very quickly. I don't know if Hunter's still on or not.
He said it doesn't have to do with a case, right?
No, it does not have to do with a pending case before the court, a pending case.
All right, Mr. Marshall, is there any way you can call me on the phone at about 4:45? Because I'm actually supposed to be in a juvenile board meeting at 4 o'clock.
I will try to call you at 4:45 for sure. I'll try to make it.
And I will answer.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Ms. Garcia, for being here. I'm going to shut us down real quickly because I have to go into another Zoom.
Okay, you're welcome. See you next time.
That was June 23rd at 9 o'clock a.m., right?
Yes.
Thank you. I don't need to be in court so long as my client's there, right?
Yes.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, everyone. I'll see you all tomorrow, Wednesday. Half the week will be gone. Bye, guys.
Have a good night.
Thank you. You too. Bye-bye. Did you need me for anything, Rebecca?